Welcome to the Huge Monster Teeth, which is episode 54 of O the Humanities, but it's our first Monster Hunter episode, and never thought it'd happen. Never thought it would happen.
Neither did I, to be honest.
Who are you?
I don't know anymore.
It is early. We are recording this one at a stupidly early hour for us because we're trying to get over daft work stuff, and we just really want to record this episode. Yeah. So it's
don't sell it short. Don't sell it short. We're recording early because we're excited. We couldn't wait. We couldn't wait until 7 or 8 p.m. We're like, no, 9 a.m. Let's do this.
But who are you?
My name is Paddy. I am the orange one of this podcast. Who are you?
I am just a shell of a man this early in the morning, but hey, you youngster, try this zesty human petrol. I will. This will be my first try of the zesty human petrol today.
Are we doing coffee tasting?
Oh my god, that's really good. Zesty human petrol for zesty humans that want to be petrol humans. It's fine now. Everything is fine. The sweet baby Jesus, the Matchbox car collection of Moses, everything is fine.
So what petrol did you just drink? Because the listeners are going to want to know this.
This is the Christmas espresso from Starbucks, which I don't think is as good as last year's, but it's still that first moment of glorious Lazarus Pit from the morning is blissful and beautiful. Almost as if I've been rescued. Almost as if I've been rescued on a wooden trolley by a number of cats. Like you can get in the Monster Hunter games.
That's a good segue.
Subigu, or as I used to say, a siege, which was a play on CJ, but it sounded like I didn't know.
Well, I think I used to quite like segu. Like, it's a good segu.
Segu?
Do you know, right? What word, before we get started, what word have you always got wrong? Because I used to call 7-Up Zup.
Well, you
until
always,
I was like 20.
You always say gestures, which always makes me laugh.
Yeah, I can't stop myself. Gesture.
I don't know. There were things when I was a kid that, because they weren't on telly and weren't on adverts, I kind of, I got wrong when I heard sort of them said. Like when I used to go and play football, there was this lotion in sort of clear glass bottles that was kind of passed around that you used to keep your legs warm, and it was called DP. Yeah. And I thought that was, when you see on the telly a peat bog and it's smouldering, I thought it was something that they did to peat, like maybe the fourth one that they tried.
Okay.
I genuinely thought it was the letter D and then peat, P-E-A-T. And it was only like years later when that was advertised on telly, and I was like, Deep Heat!
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so I got that completely wrong. And also in the days before kind of internet groups and stuff, I remember getting into the anime Razafon and really liking it. And I was in the comic store and I was talking to a friend and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this anime. It's really good. And it's a little bit like it's a little bit like some of the other mech stuff, but I really like it. There's a really emotional story." And I was like, it's called Raxaphon. Everybody, you just heard like this group of people in the corner just go. It's like, well, I didn't know. And they were like, "You mean Razaphon?" I was like, maybe there's a big X in the middle. I didn't know. I had no one to talk to. Help!
I've only ever seen it written sharp.
I might have this conversation again. I could be you. So, yeah.
I like words.
They're good. I'll try and think of some more. But this isn't the game that we're playing.
Do you know what I've got someone with? Do you know what I got someone with the other day?
All right.
They said something silly. It was one of the volunteers. They said something stupid, like the wrong way around. I can't remember what the word was now. And then they were like, "Don't make fun of my pronunciation." I was like, "I think you'll find it's pronunciation."
Oh,
and then I turned into a blazing star and ascended to heaven.
There was a lass that I used to work with who I got into an argument and she went, "Well, Pacifically," like a big pond.
Do you know what? That's a great callback because I think that exact joke, is in our very first episode of Twin Humanities.
Is it? You see,
in the Polynaut Soulcast. So I listened to it a few months ago.
We've officially run out.
Ocean.
We've run out. We've switched back round. Although it's strange because we had a little bit of snow here recently, and like the last that I worked with on Saturdays is from Berre, And
Really?
she just kept saying to people, "Oh, I think we're going to get snow." And I was like, if I'd have taken a shot every time you said snow, I'd have been drunk by 8:30 this morning. and then she was like, "Oh, but it's really cold." And I was like, "Is this your first winter?"
Do you live in the beaches of Egypt?
Imagine, like, just rips her face off to reveal a microphone and going like, "The game is up. Return to the planet." They know communication.
It's kind of
is bad.
I think it's kind of interesting that we've returned back to an old bit. Because kind of this episode is going to be sort of oddly similar to our very first episode of Anything Ever, when you were the big experienced man doing a thing, and I was the new
Oh my god!
learning about.
You've done a Tom Segura.
Okay. Oh,
that was another variation of segue. That
Good
probably
segue.
is even less successful. So yeah, I'm going to boing into my history of Monster Hunter.
I'm going to drink a peppermint tea while you do this.
Do it.
Doing it.
What kind of peppermint is in your tea?
It's in a bag.
How square is your bag? Is your bag?
This is
New
standard cheapo Tesco peppermint tea, like £1 for like 50 of them. They're fine. They'll do nicely.
There's a really nice 3-mint one, which you should try. I think they do sell it in Tesco, but it's Pucker sell it, which is almost a Monster Hunter creature.
Ooh,
like
I don't get that
Pucky,
reference
Pucky?
yet.
Pucky? Is it Pucky? The one that we were, I think, we were both supposed to watch the video of it being taken down, the 17-minute fight from
Spoilers.
the main game. Oh, did you see it?
No.
Oh, no, I've got to do it.
I don't want to watch no spoilers.
I don't want to watch no spoilers. So yeah, Monster Hunter. I kind of liked the idea of it for a long time before I played it. I had a bit of a monkey about with the PSP version. You know, nothing says getting on with the game quite like one sort of circle pad controller and then one D-pad controlling camera. Played a little bit of Monster Hunter Tri on Wii, but I clicked hugely with Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on Wii U. The difference there, I think, was definitely the online component. On the one hand, it was really great to relax into after a busy day at work. On the other, the gear it would afford was way beyond that which I'd be able to get on my own, which meant I would then advance more quickly in the single-player game, and I'd be able to do sort of bigger and better monsters in the online stuff. It was nice. It kind of got me beyond my natural skill level, I guess.
Sort of taxiing up past your skill ceiling.
Yeah, and I think that there's a certain portion where you can even push on beyond your own ignorance, because you can go, right, I can do that now. Oh, I can do that. And there were like these little sort of steps forward between like the online stuff and things that I was getting, and then trying to do stuff with the things that I was getting and going back into the online stuff. And it's fun. There were a lot of experts on the multiplayer side of things online, and they were almost universally lovely. Seeing this, just rather than it being like a niche that's their thing, they were seemingly sort of answering questions and imparting ideas and helping anybody out that was looking to get into the game. They were really, really good people that were kind of camping out online and just saying, if anybody's got any questions, let me know. And, you could do that now. What sets are you going for and stuff. It was great. I also remember this one kid that was playing that was clearly treating us like with the Avengers or something. They were so full of joy and telling their mum all about it in between missions. This kid sounded like they were like a tiny dinosaur from Land Before Time or something. But the whole thing was crazy endearing. It was really lovely. Like if you could sort of bottle up the Nintendo experience, it would just be that. And I think the love here was definitely with the game being on the big telly. And I really didn't click with its return to handhelds. I've got a Circle Pad Pro from a 3DS, so it wasn't much of a control issue. I just didn't get on with the added verticality of Monster Hunter 4 and didn't play Monster Hunter Cross afterwards. Plus, I don't have a commute, so I can't really play handhelds in that way. And sort of sitting on the couch and just looking down at a tiny screen rather than looking at like the big telly. Was a big deal, I guess. But yeah. I remember
regarding the commute thing, I'm the same, because I have a leg commute, not a sitting down commute. So, like, gaming on the go isn't really a thing that works for me either.
I mean, I remember you coming to visit a few years back and running you through all the amazing costumes and weapons, and there being a definite element of all from you in how colourful and daft they were.
To be honest, it was the outfits more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, I am a man of very... What's the word I'm looking for?
You can be swayed by the bonkers.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But it still definitely sat as something that was for me at that point, but not something for you. I mean, what's your sort of history with it, and why did you still think that wasn't a... Because obviously I think with us knowing each other at that point, and this being like a jumping off point for a lot of people that got into Souls as well. In that sort of drift, it was like, right, we're all going to give a go to Monster Hunter. So
yeah, well, I think my history, I didn't try the PS2 one. I think my first interaction with it was one of the PSP ones. I think it was the first one. I don't remember. When Love Film was still doing game rentals and they were doing PSP games, which was really good. I remember renting it off there and just... I gave it a couple of hours and just didn't get it. Like, I didn't understand what I was doing. I was getting frustrated because my meat wasn't cooking right all the time. I don't know. I just remember it being awkward to find the monsters. It wasn't there. Like, for me, it wasn't quite there. Like, it didn't... I can see why people like it, but as someone who would have played it primarily on his own, I was like, this isn't for me. And I think basically at that point, kind of just wrote it off for a while. I say for a while, until about a week ago.
some might consider that a while, definitely.
It's a while. There's so much coming out, there's so many games coming out in and out, and there's so much stuff appearing, especially in the last few years, There's not really much reason for me to kind of chase after games that I've already bounced off that much, because there's always something new coming out, and there's, time is limited, and I just never gave it. To be fair, I never had a machine it would play on either for a while. It kind of vanished off PSP after a few years, didn't it? And that was the last machine I owned that would have played a Monster Hunter until this one.
I think there's
and I was never going to buy a Wii U, or a Wii.
I think there was probably also that aspect with Wii U whereby it sort of stood out as like a really big release, and that people could sink time into it because maybe there wasn't sort of a tremendous amount that was coming out for it.
Yeah. I mean, had this come out on the PS3, maybe I'd have bought it. Maybe I'd have played it. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't say the Wii U was like a stupendous advancement. There was still that level of traditional for it about it, but it had sort of taken a few sort of steps on and stuff, especially with that online component. But
I didn't have one, so it was a moot point because I didn't have one.
So the new game was announced at E3. There were rumours about it being PS4 exclusive for a while, and it seems that is just PS4 exclusive content. But at E3 that was a big announcement. I mean, seeing it was coming back to the big screen and it looked so beautiful. But again, if I remember our shows, that I don't think it was for you at that point, really.
No, I'm almost certain that my comments were, it looks nice. Monster Hunter, though, innit? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what I would have said. I should have gone back and listened, really. That's almost certainly what I said about Monster Hunter. Again, it's like, it's a non-entity. It's like if a new GTA gets announced, it's like, fine. That exists for everybody else. Cool. I'm good.
Sometimes you can appreciate games in that way, that it's not...
I mean, I was still reeling from Knack 2 at that point, so...
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
You're only human. So, in the aftermath, word got out that not only was this the most accessible Monster Hunter ever, but there had been a complete rethink of so many of the systems and the mechanics. But even the established members of the Monster Hunter community were raving about the alterations. So it appeared to be those who hadn't clicked with the game before were the most vocal about it in the games media. The E3 demo, which I think is what... It must be similar to what we've been playing in the beta, and I think that was at EGX2. Just really excited people, and having played it, it's hard not to see why, but more so still kind of given your reaction. I mean, going in, I really hoped it clicked with you, and given the very sort of Monster Hunter like grind and build in Warframe, I thought there was a good chance of that being the case. But I was still nervous. I was really hoping you wouldn't sack it off and we get to have a pop at it together. But what happened after, honestly, I haven't gotten over it. It was just a joyous time. And just the world dissolved away, but sort of seeing your levels of joy and how fast you clicked with it, and the level of personal momentum that you got with kind of just taking the lead and not really asking a lot of stuff, and just it was. Well,
do you know what's weird? Fantastic. Like until maybe the day before, I was still like zero asked. I know you were saying, "Oh, you got to download it." I was like, "Yeah, I will," but it was like a side thought. You know, I'm playing stuff at the minute. I've just finished Yakuza on the PS2, which was really good, and I was like, "Oh, that's really good." And I'm playing lots of little games, you know, because Game of the Year's coming up. Time to play all the stuff that I forgot about. And I was like, "Ah, it's just one more thing, and it's only on for the weekend. I'll give it a quick bash and just sack it off." So I got the download done. I was like, oh, it looks pretty. You know, I watched a couple of videos. Oh, it looks very nice. It looks very attractive. I rewatched the E3 trailer with the puffy monster, the one that's like a puffball with a face.
Is that the one that looks like a kind of white mouse with wings, but it can kind of fly like a bat, and it can kind of inflate its head like it's eating a giant biscuit,
like a bat balloon, a furry bat balloon.
It's in an area that I think Game Informer described as being like a coral reef, but without water.
Oh,
yeah, it's all sort of beautiful and kind of
I did enjoy watching the video, and I've since been back and watched other ones, but we'll get there later. I was kind of like, it's all right, it'd be fun, and we said, you know, let's do it together. You know, let's play this together, because I ain't gonna mainly because I wasn't gonna know what the fuck I was doing. Like, I was gonna like, do I stab the monster? What do I do? My very first game was with you, yeah.
I think I was going on Twitter to say like, well, so do you fancy going? And I just saw like the 3 dots of you writing. You were like, I'm on.
Yeah,
it's lovely. I was like, I'm coming.
I was staring at the title screen, so I was once again waiting for coffee. And I was staring at the title screen trying to find monsters on the title screen. And I found a lizard, and I found a bird, and I found a lizard monster.
But yeah, talk to me about kind of your thoughts of like the lead-in, the test area, the vocal tutorial, and just I don't know the sort of.
Can we start with the character creator?
This is fantastic. I wonder which character you picked.
Well, anyone listening who's played it will know, and if you don't, you've not been listening. And I pretty much said that exact thing to you. We were looking through the characters, looking through the men, looking through the women. And you were like, oh, well, which one have you picked? And I just said to you, look, if you can't work out which one I've picked, we ain't friends anymore.
No, I think halfway through you trying to say that sentence, I just went, hold on, you're the ginger black girl, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you were like, and you just laughed.
And I heard you giggle in the background as well. Like,
but you couldn't predict which one I'd sort of gotten because I was less. It was less obvious for me. It could have been any of them.
It could have been any of them. Yeah, there was no clear choice. There was no sort of short-haired, blue-haired man. Which would have been.
This is true.
There was no Magic Dave. I couldn't pick a Magic Dave.
I think I just picked a sort of cute lass with sort of a bob haircut.
When you get to the main game, are you going to make a Magic Dave? Do you think?
The character creator in the main game is apparently really extensive, and knowing the character stuff they did in Dragon's Dogma, I think we'll be able to create some really really cool stuff. Yeah. So
it's either going to be you or you with blue hair, isn't it?
Well, the difference for me in this one is that as I got further into Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, I realised that all the best armour sets were girl sets. Because it's like, with the blokes you can make this massive, chunky, powerful thing. It's like, or with the girls' version, it looks like a teddy bear. I want to wear that version.
Yeah.
I want to hit monsters just like a kind of fleshy, mechanical teddy bear.
Yeah, every armour set I had looked at while we were setting up, the girls' version is just better. It's just better.
I don't know if that translates to the final game. If like maybe you've just got different variations and different options you can do, or if it is there is different more kawaii designs for female kind.
The problem is I've got quite attached to the default character now.
There we go.
Well,
I'm sure you'll be able to go in there.
Yeah, like, and I've got quite attached to it now. I think I might change her a little bit, but I've got quite attached. And once I found the correct outfit, it's like, well, that's how I want to finish. That's the game. There we go. I've done it. I've fashioned it.
The weird thing is that I played this game online with you and with my friend Nor, and there was one of the characters in the character creation, the one that was like the top right, is the double of Nor. Absolute double of her. And beforehand, I was like, I was trying to trying to sort of entice her into it. I was like, one of these people in the character creator is you. It's just, if you were trying to create you in a character creator, you couldn't get any nearer than this. And when sort of we got on, I was like, did you see that one? She was like, yeah, it's frightening. Yeah, I'm that one. Yeah, but yeah, go on.
So yeah, I picked out a Palico as well. Again, if you can't work out which one I picked, we ain't friends. The gingerest cat I could see with the spiky ears. And on that, I did watch a video today, a little short video on the PlayStation channel about how you edit your Palico. Oh, you can choose individual colours for the various sections of its fur.
Really?
Extensive cat customization.
Because you see, one of my favourite thing about the Palico, I think I just picked the cutest, but I liked the fact that there were these sort of steampunk goggles that had got kind of cat ears on the top of them. And even when we got into the game, the level of cat stuff was just... We'll talk about this in the main game, but the level of cat stuff was just brilliant.
Yeah,
hilarious,
I've got a question,
in fact.
actually. I've got a question while we're here. Where does the name Palico come from? Is that like a reference something in the game?
I just think it's a name given to them. I don't know if it's anything specific.
Okay,
honestly.
I was just curious, like if there was a Palico monster that you tamed in an early one that had babies, and then you all get a free cat.
No, I just think that's the name for kind of cute, aggressive, violent, brilliant cats.
Hang on, no, Calico's a kind of cat, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. And wait, pal, he's your friend. Okay, he's your friend.
Oh, you've got it. You've constructed it. You've
got
the
it.
internet. Well played.
You don't even tweet. Stop tweeting. Delete that tweet.
Well done.
Delete that. Don't tweet at me.
That's the best thing you've ever done.
Cool. Right, I've got to leave now.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go kill myself now.
No.
I've peaked.
So yeah,
in terms of like armor sets and stuff, like of course I'm going to pick the most ostentatious thing possible because have you met me? Like, I mean, and I was going through the sets, like, oh, the Forest Hunter set's quite good, you know, like the sort of the sort of the capey greenness on it, and then I looked at the feathered set and I'm like, oh, that's very attractive with the little face cape and the headband, and then I found a crown. I was like, well, okay, that's the hat, then that's the crown done. And decided to go for, I think it was the Anja top piece, which is the one that's kind of like a furry cape, like a fur-shouldered, magnificent cape.
You see, that's the one, looking at them, that I prejudged that you'd go for, because you just look like you'd be dancing in some sort of drugged-out 1970s nightclub, maybe with Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
And Shack Attack, or I don't know.
Add on the crown on top, and it's like, yes, queen. So yeah, I got incredibly attached, and then every time we played from that point on, I made the same character and the same look. Like, oh, I should try on some different armor to do. No, queen outfit. There we are. Yeah, so I love the characters look really nice. Like the creator looks like it's going to be quite in depth as well. Like you say, like it's the Dragon's Dogma people or Dragon's Dogma. Character creator from the old games was quite good, so it looks like it's channeling some of that. They did have, that's maybe what they look like, because they looked a bit familiar to me. Maybe that's where I'm getting it from.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's sort of raving about the character creator. I haven't seen a video outlining it, but I know that a lot of the Monster Hunter pros sort of went to Capcom and sat down with it for about 2 or 3 days, and there was stuff...
What, making one character?
Yeah, well, you know, it is thorough.
It's quite in depth.
No, but they sort of sat down with the game for that amount of time, and there was stuff they could show and stuff they couldn't at that point. So I don't know if the other stuff was, you know, still being worked on and still being tweaked on the ancillary side of things. But,
oh, interesting.
So there you go. So what did you? So you've designed your character.
Yep.
You've gone into the test area.
Yeah, test area first, because I was like, I'm not jumping straight in. I need to learn. Because I heard that there was like one of each of the weapons in the one of each of the weapon types in the game. It's like, oh, try them all out. Like, cool, but there's 15. Give me a minute. And I know I'm working on limited time because with work and stuff to do on the Sunday as well. Like I was only going to get a few hours with it really, so I thought, right, spend about 20 minutes in the testing area and then we'll get on with it. So I tried out. What did I start with? What do you get at the start before you? Is it like is it the standard longsword they start you with?
Well,
no, it's a switch axe. I'm sure you start with a switch axe.
I think you started with a switch axe. Yeah. but I went with longsword because that was the thing that I got used to on Wii U, and was pretty much like, right, I'm going to go in with a level of the familiar, and we'll see what builds from there.
Yeah.
But you tried the switch axe, and I don't think you got on with it, did you?
It was the thing with the switch axe. I think with quite a few of these weapons, I was trying them out, and I was like, this is cool, but I think this requires a level of knowing the game a bit more before I try and remember all this as well, because there's lots of like
fair.
combos and charge attacks and mode transforming stuff, and there was like quite a lot of combos which they were cool, and I was having fun messing around with them, but I thought in the real game I'm gonna forget those. Like, I'm gonna be like, what am I doing? So I decided to go, after trying a few things out, I ended up on the hammer.
Yeah,
rock on a stick, baby.
My word, you got on with hammers.
I like hammer.
Talk to me about hammers.
I think I've already found the boy. I tried that on the testing area and really liked the circle attack, the Big Bang, because it's got a good name. And then Big Bang 2, and then Big Bang 3, and then Big Bang 4, and then Big Bang Finisher. It's like, that feels like a good thing to do.
What a succession of names, yeah.
Yeah, and then just this series of lumping overhead, just like, a bam, a bam, a bam, and the damage gets bigger and bigger the more you do. I was like, that seems like my kind of thing. Stand in the middle and hit things with a very large rock. That sounds like me. So I had a quick diddle around with it, mucked around, didn't quite understand what the charge attack was for, and kept getting it wrong. I learned that about 2 days later, what I was doing with that, and then suddenly I became more effective. But yeah, I thought, there we go, hammer makes sense. The moveset's really simple. Just some simple triangle and circle combos. It's got a charge thing that I didn't know, but I didn't really need it, to be honest, at the start. So I thought, this will do. I'll try this one out. I grabbed my hammer, and I think off we went, didn't we?
So what did you make of the look of the world once you went in there, and the vocal tutorial, the level of discovery and stuff?
It's very pretty. It's very, very pretty. And the fact that there's quite a bit of tutorial, there's enough to get someone like me started. Find the scout flies, track the thing, fight the thing. Like, okay, cool. And it gives you kind of hints as you go as well, which is fun.
Yeah, it wasn't like stopping you and then telling you about something and then letting you go ahead a bit more. It was, you were running towards something, and it was just imparting stuff as you were going on, just enough. I wouldn't say it was over tutorializing at all. And as I understand it, that kind of that lady sort of disappears in the main game after about an hour or so.
Oh, okay.
Which is great. You're just giving that helping hand to sort of get started and understand the world a little bit, and then you're left to it.
You get one for the weapons as well. She'll say, "Oh, this is this weapon. It can do this and this and this." It's like, oh, that's actually quite interesting.
It's very well done.
Good place to start, and it's without. So with me having no prior knowledge, it was nice to have a jumping off point. And if I was standing around aimlessly, like, it would say me, "Oh, you look for scout flies." Like, oh, okay, right, cool. I know what I'm doing now. And it was just this nice hints. Nice hints. I think the only thing I missed at the start was the fact you couldn't totally nosh down on a mega chicken before you start.
Yeah, I remembered our friend Kylie sort of saying, I think she tweeted like she'd just eaten a Sunday lunch, and then she started watching that, and she was like, I really want some chicken now. I love chicken skin, crispy chicken skin. It's lovely. And I was like, yeah, it's a definite doozy. The way she looks at that chicken as well is the way that I was looking at that chicken.
I also looked at the chicken in that fashion too. But then you look into the background.
Yeah. You look in the background, and the cat is eating a bit of chicken as well, like properly nomming down on it. Well played.
Gosh, nobbing. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I loved that aspect of sitting down, having a lovely meal, and then heading out. And like, it looks so nice. They've really rendered it nicely. The chicken's all bubbly and crispy at the bottom. Like, the fat's just like sizzling as it comes out. Oh, and like the animation's really nice as well, of like the hunter helper sort of pulling the chicken out the oven, and then you sitting down and noshing on it, and the look on your character's face is like, arr, 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 like just munching away at this chicken, not just like a default head wobbling. Like, there's proper animation in there. Like, it looks like you're really enjoying the meal. Like, just nice little touches. It looks nice. It was a nice little touch that I don't think you'd have gotten on the earlier games, I don't think.
Do you know what else is in the main game before you go on a mission, if you're waiting about?
Go on then.
They brought back arm wrestling.
What?
You can do arm wrestling with people.
What?
Over a barrel.
How did we not?
The final game.
Capcom, great. Can you put the beater back on? Capcom.
Just
for a minute.
The arm wrestling.
Just give us a chance.
So yeah, there's stuff on top of that.
Shit me.
I mean, there's obviously in the lead in there you were given sort of old school Mega Drive passwords to link up with one another, but that won't be the case in the main game. It wasn't in the previous ones, and I believe if you're playing on your own and you want to bring other people in as well, it's sort of drop in, drop out co-op. So if somebody's looking for a game and you suddenly like discover a Rathalos or something and you're on your own, you're like, no, you can literally put out the call for other hunters to kind of fly in and pitch in with you, which is amazing.
Save me!
I just think that's
help.
really cool. It's just like calling in the Avengers. It's cool.
Please help.
So yeah, talk to me about the ecosystem and the monsters, the peaceful stuff you discover, and then.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the start it was quite peaceful because we said let's meet up at Camp 1, and then you weren't there. So it was quite a peaceful start. So for all the listeners listening, CJ can't read.
I was just like, what? Yes, me, the enthusiast.
Like, 3 times that happened, like, where are you? Like, I'm at the wrong camp. You fool. So I just kind of wandered off into the world, like, I'm going to go for a little walk. Did I wait for you? No, I waited for you.
Yeah, I think I've found you sort of pretty quickly.
I think I waited for you the first time, and then the next time I was like, sod you, I'm off. Just straight in. But yeah, like you wander around, it feels like it sort of breathes. The world feels like alive. So the lush vegetation and those kind of large, kind of hippo cow monsters.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, which we started murdering with gay abandon. Which I don't know if we're supposed to do, but it felt nice.
Well, they in many ways, sort of in the final game, they are sort of walking burgers. If you do just want to get meat to cook and stuff, but yeah, there's a degree in previous games whereby you'll hit one of the mums and the dads, and you just like see the other ones running off, or you might leave a baby sort of on their own. You're like,
and then you murder it.
Yeah,
for its meat. Sweet
so
meat.
Tasty.
But yeah, we found so the game then the tutorial comes in saying look for like belly scratches and claw marks. Like, okay, that's kind of fun.
Snot.
And what?
Snot.
Snot. Yes, snot.
Yeah.
Lovely, sweet mucus. So we hunted around that opening bit, which is kind of like a little grassy, pondy sort of area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Grassy, pondy bit. Very pretty. Nice sun. I had my HDR on at this point on my telly, and it looked very, very pretty. And I was kind of diddling around and looking for things to kill, and we found the first, I think, claw mark or belly mark. Like, ooh, we got something, and then like chase, like each trying to track each other down. Like where? I think I found the wave animation and was just stood there waving, and you were like, "Where are you?"
That was the advantage of us actually both going into different camps, because we were both coming from different areas, sort of trying to track it down, and I think we more or less sort of. One of us got a lead on it.
Yeah, we got it in 2, didn't we? Like we got it really quickly.
and then we both went as one force.
Yeah, and once the scout flies started working properly, it was great. I think my only gripe with the scout flies, I understand why they're there and they are brilliant, but if you haven't got the scent of it yet, the scout flies have found some. Oh, it's more berries.
I think from what I saw in, I think it might be in a Rex game video or a Gaijin Hunter one that I saw, you can upgrade the scout flies, and there's sort of three different upgrades whereby the final one just shows you where the monster is on the map, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, but that's a level of momentum in the final game. So
more like hack flies.
Hey.
So I quite enjoyed like finding belly scratches and mucus and like, it went this way. And then I think we found it, like you say, really quickly, didn't we? And I think it was just eating something as we turned up.
It had just swallowed something and was like twice the size. And again, this ties into the feeling of it being sort of a living, breathing world. That the place that creature goes off to, I think it's going to like feed its babies with it and stuff. And when you arrive and start fighting, they run up into the trees and start watching. And even if you kill it, the babies like will feed on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's some really crazy nature stuff going on where you just go like, oh my god, you've really thought of so much about this world that make as pretty and as vibrant as it looks. It's got a level of relatability on the edge of the fantasy, which I kind of dig.
I can see that.
Blue Planet meets sort of Japanese monster movies.
Also,
I'm all about that.
Also, Damn, nature, you scary.
Yeah. So what did you think? Because it was the Great Jagras, I think, the first one that we found. Which
Jaggers,
is a big sort of yellowy green monster with sort of hair on its back that can swallow a cow animal type thing whole.
I like him. He's a good design, and I liked his silly floppy hair.
It was good.
I liked his hair a lot. I thought he was big. Obviously, he's not. He's not big at all. He's, if anything, small. But I thought, he's large.
And if anything, quite passive in repose.
Yeah, if anything, quite chill, all things considered. And I think, did we just charge in? I'm pretty sure we just ran. I'm pretty sure I just ran at it.
I think this was the point where I realised that you had got to the point where you were so confident with the game that you wanted to try out the mechanics that you'd learned on the creature. And then when you saw how the creature was reacting and the fun we were having, it just gave you more confidence, but it was almost like an instinctive thing. It was amazing just seeing you react to this.
Well, you forget, of course, I'd killed 2 hippo creatures at this point. I'm basically a vet. I'd killed 2 hippos.
You've gone past filthy casual.
Right, I think I got this. Yeah, I think I've worked this out. I've worked out how to kill things.
Yeah, well played.
I'm going to use my stick and put it on him. Because having braved a lot of Souls games, having braved a lot of Witcher games, a lot of The Witcher even, quite used to running at a massive thing now. I'll be fine. It's fine. I've worked out where the dodge button is. I'll be fine. Wasn't fine. Still bit me quite a few times. But I feel because I was using a weapon that was quite simple. And I felt quite comfortable with it quite quickly. It was just smash it or smash it a bit harder was all I was really using at the start, and then run away. I wasn't having to think too much. I was able just to run in, start wailing on it, and then just focus on getting out of the way when it wasn't. And I know there's more to I know there's a lot more to it to that. But at the start, where it was quite an easy hunt, I could take my time a bit more and just get a feel for the weapon by hitting him with it.
How did you feel about was your enthusiasm encouraged by seeing the way the creature reacts? Because there's not stuff that you can break off the creature, but as it goes along, you'll see them huffing and puffing, limping, getting tired, running back to areas that they feel more comfortable in, or they can rest in.
Oh yeah, visibly staggering it was quite fun. Seeing it getting properly shaken and falling over in that sudden panic of, oh, it's down. Go! Hit it with the stick!
When it's on its back and it's wriggling and stuff, it was pile in!
Yeah, it's time for smash! I really enjoyed the reaction. It felt like it was running away. When it ran away the first time, and I was outraged at it. Come back here, you prick!
I think you'd already taken off. And there was a point where I just rested my DualShock sort of on my lap and just went
yeah.
Just that single lap of just I think he's in.
Yeah, I was go on, you prick, and I was immediately chased after it. Ran out of stamina. I did find slight mechanical thing here. I would like when the main game comes out to sit there and really learn the quick wheel, where the gestures. Yeah. See, I said it properly, and the whetstones and the healthstone, because using the left and right on the D-pad to find the whetstone took a while. It's where's the whetstone? Where's the whetstone? I've gone past it and go back.
Left and right on the D-pad, did you?
Yeah,
because I was using the L1, hold down L1, and then is it circle and square to go left and right to flick through them.
Oh, see, I looked at that and went, and
I can see how that might not be super approachable.
Yeah, but I had it was in the bottom right corner.
Remap the buttons as well.
Yeah, I saw that as well. But it was in the bottom right corner, and I was sort of slapping left and right on the D-pad, which was switching through those weapons in the bottom, or the potions and the antidotes and stuff. So. I would like to get better at that, because that was the only thing I was I just want to sharpen my axe.
That'll come with time. I was still sort of umming and ahhing, and there were little things that came to light online, whereby I think if you pressed right on the D-pad, you could alter the distance the camera was from your character, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, fun.
Yeah. So I need to experiment with that a little bit, I think, because it might be. It might be a little better for me to see a little distance behind my character, so I can see how far maybe a monster is, sort of, how close it is to me. That might be advantageous. So, again, it's fun to mess about with that stuff on the edge of it, but at the core there was, I remember your reaction particularly when I think you did a spinning hit with the hammer into the creature's face, and the creature was literally, its reaction was "fuck off," and it just like knocked back. It was like a UFC blow or something, and I just heard you go, "Yeah, mate." In fact, this ties into, I don't think I've ever heard you as vocal in a game as you were in this game, because you were cheering, you were shouting, you were running off, you were mouthing off, you were like, no. In fact, there were so many things where we both like, no. We both run away and be like, potion. We were like saying it at the same time, or like whetstone.
I'm doing a whetstone. Me too.
Don't run at me. Don't run at me while I'm sharpening.
I think over the weekend, actually, my favourite. I think the quote of the weekend was definitely, "Didn't mean it, I'm sorry."
Was that when you smashed me one?
No, when we smashed the monster one and they turn around and look at you like, oh, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry.
I think that pretty much sort of relates to the second one that we had a go at.
The second one was more, yeah.
Did we do
we did
the
quite well
Baroth on the same day? I think we might
did,
have done.
yeah. I think the Jagras we did in one go. I think we didn't see a lot of the map. It kind of we chased it pretty much up a small hill through a forest into a cave. Found it in there. It kind of wandered back out to the grassy pondy bit where we found the hippos, and then it wandered back again. So we kind of only really saw maybe not even a quarter of the map. I don't think it kind of stayed pretty much relatively near the bottom right corner. So it was only on later missions back there where I saw more of the map and saw what it had to offer. But we'll get there. Yeah, it was Baroth next. We had 2 goes at Baroth because we didn't do it the first time. Again, for my own, inexperience in knowing where to hit him, because I'm learning now that you hit a monster in a different place, it'll do different kinds of damage. Like some of them have more vulnerability spots on their tail or their face or their arms or their legs. And I was just smacking whatever I could reach, and not quite understanding that when he goes, it's time to run away for a bit, because I'm a brave idiot. So I'm like, I'm going to keep hitting him.
There's a definite dance to the creatures, and it's noticing the points where you come to realise that the things that you can get away with, and then the distance that you have to use to get away from it.
Yeah.
And there's very much almost like a ballet and a dance between you and the creature in that regard. But the fact that as the fight goes on, the creature might become more panicked or more tired, and even when you get it to lowest health, that's where it might be its most ferocious. So the things that you've gotten used to might be completely thrown out of the window in the way that the character evolves. And yeah, there is that point where suddenly you think you're going to get away with something. There's the physicality that you're maybe part way through, going into that swing, and then the creature just looks around at you and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah. No, wasn't me.
So you were Hammer Boy again at this point.
Yeah, I don't think I changed. I was still Hammer Boy. I was Hammer Boy pretty much for the entire weekend.
So I think I persisted with Longsword at this point. I was trying out a build that RX had suggested to get the best out of the flame capabilities. Took that into the second battle, and probably, I don't know, I don't think I did sort of crazy well, but I changed things up to the switch axe afterwards and was quite enjoying that. But yeah, still wouldn't say I completely found my comfort zone with the weapons that I'd chosen. But in that second fight against the Baroth, there were... I think it was the second time that we battled the Baroth, because there were different stuff that kicked in both times. The cats were brilliant.
Oh my God.
Noticing that the cat was pushing a pram where the hood of the pram was a cat.
I can tell you about that.
Okay, do it.
Because I asked my friend, Jim Tim, he came around for board game night on Tuesday for some more Gloomhaven, which was very good. And we were chatting about Monster Hunter World before Laura got home, because she was away out. And I told him, at one point, the cat had a pram with its own face on. He went, "Do you mean a Palico tank?" I went, "What's a Palico tank?"
I love that there's a name for it.
Apparently, it's quite a rare thing, so it doesn't come up all the time, and it's that kind of infuriating mechanic where it will appear when you're just running around with nothing going on, and it will suddenly get out a tank. But yeah, apparently it comes up. It's a rare thing. It didn't tell me much more about it. It's Palico tank.
Cool. There was the bit where we walked into a particularly rocky area, and there was a cat, presumably with like a hunting horn or something, that was just casting buffs on us, and it was just like, what's that noise? What the? Just
you look
like,
up,
look up to the rocks.
Cat
and
dancing.
The cat there.
Yeah.
But the best one was when we fought the Baroth in kind of the water area, and all of a sudden the cat was just hearing you go, the cat's in a dinghy.
Yeah, look at the cat. Why? Just look at it.
Just fantastic.
And then hearing you explode.
It was just that throughout the beta that did not get old. That was wonderful comedy. But then there was the brilliance at that point where I was hoping we were going to get something where two monsters sort of fought one another, and seeing obviously we were trying to take the Baroth at this point, and the vocal sort of came on like, oh, there's something else here, and it was the Duratados, like the kind of slimy, snaky,
really big
fish lizard creature. Just came out and started fighting it, and just hearing you go like, just seeing you stop on screen, and just hearing you go, whoa,
yeah,
and then seeing the creature wrap itself around the Baroth and try to strangle it, and like there was the part of me that's now into like monster movies and stuff that just went, oh, this is cool, and you were like, Should we just leave him to it? Is it doing our job? And then I saw you run off. So you'd obviously made a decision without any vocal to impart of that then, and we were just sort of trying to get at its ankles.
Here's the thing: I needed to whetstone as well, so it was good timing, really. But I'm like, do I run off or do I keep hitting it? Do I hit it or do I risk pissing off the fish? Later, I did piss off the fish on my own. But I thought, do I risk annoying the fish for this? No, let's let him have a little go. But yeah, that first time when the fish turns up, and I know it's got a real name, but we're calling it the fish.
The
just like what's that? What's that slimy? Oh, a fish is here.
You do break it down into the things that it looks like. So it's like fish lizard thing. There's a fish lizard thing here.
And the Baroth is a rock dinosaur. Yeah.
Although I think on that mission, it might have been that mission that I wandered into an area, and when the Duratados turned up, I was like, and you were like, oh, is this the other monster? And I was like, that's not the other monster that I saw. And I think it might have been the Diabolos that I sort of
onto
and just went no.
I think we timed out on our first run at Baroth. Again, just by inexperience. I was only using the circle attack because it hit for more damage. Obviously, I realised later on that I should be mixing my attacks up because I was missing quite a lot because it's quite slow. When it hit, it was great, but it just wasn't hitting enough. And on our second run, when we mixed it up a little bit more, and we kind of chased it more over the map as well, like it was going all over the place.
I think we got it on the run far quicker this time because we were both on it.
And again, every time it ran away, I was like just indignantly furious with it. Like, where are you going, prick?
And then you can guarantee it gets to that area, and it'll get part way down like a mountainside. Turn around, you were like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah. Well, the best one that has happened, I was chasing it down a hill, and I was doing the slide, and as it turned around, I thought, "Can I do a charge?" And I let go of my charge button, flew through the air, and landed on its head. It's like,
beautiful.
I'm on it now. You're like, what?
What
I'm
do
on
you
it.
think to the mountain mechanic? And
it's really fun. And
the thing's trying to shake you off, and you're trying to grab onto it, and then trying to stab it momentarily.
And I know it's insufferable, but doing the Shadow of the Colossus music while it's happening, it was quite a lot of fun. Da, 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 da.
God, there was that video that Socks, the community manager, put up of fighting one creature and jumping onto one of the, because I didn't realise you could attach to kind of those sort of flying creatures that were above us, and he sort of got up to one of those Bionic Commando style, like swung back, used the flying ghillie to go forward, and then dropped on and cut the creature's tail off. And I was like, I can't wait to be that proficient. I don't know if I'll ever be that proficient, but my God, that was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that video a lot. Like, and I didn't realise that the whole grappling hook stuff. Like, if I'd have known about that, you bet your ass, I'd have been swinging around like a dummy.
Well, the nice thing is that there's clearly a level of accessibility they brought to this, which meant that you could jump into things and no pun intended, and
Lol.
and sort of find your feet really quickly, and find that you could get used to like the rolling, the attacks, and the charges and stuff. But there's stuff on the edge of that which is just, God, what was it? I was watching one video and I think somebody got the insect glaive, and they were using it not just like the swingy choppy stuff, but there were bits where they were running up a tree, like they're in some sort of skate park on a skateboard. They were running to a tree, running up it, and then like jumping off it and still like swinging.
Oh, it's like, yeah, I watched a video of that myself. They were sort of showing off like you can basically do cool air tricks with it.
What?
I might have to have a look at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff sort of still to go there, but I think, was it the day after that we tried the Anjanath, and my God, that was scary.
Oh, okay,
Genuinely
no, not
scary.
not quite.
Oh, right.
Okay, not quite.
Go on.
There's a couple of bits in between that before
Okay.
we do that. So before we finish on the Baroth, the time we got it, I was very impressed that the fish monster turned up in the middle of the desert, in the mountain bit, and it kind of appears down a mountain path. Like, fuck are you doing here?
Mind you, to be fair, it did look slimy.
It looked slimy as shit, but it was like, you're in the wrong place. Okay, he's here to fight as well. Oh, piss.
I'm wondering if, because like in the old games, they used to have hot and cold drinks that you'd have in like certain environments. So if you were in like a desert, you'd have to keep sort of taking cold drinks every now and again. And likewise, if you were in like the ice, you had to make sure
Bring a cup of tea with you.
You were taking a brew.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's still going to be the same in the main game or not.
Yeah, we'll see. Interested. So I then had some exploring on my own. I think it was maybe Sunday evening. I don't think you were there yet. And I was just mucking about by myself. I had another crack at the Baroth on my own. Because I think I'd watched Kylie. No, I did the Jagras first. I watched Kylie play on her own. Because I was like, oh, maybe I can do this on my own as well then. Maybe it scales well. So I decided to have a crack at the Jagras. And the first kind of... I literally walked out of the camp.
Oh, you filmed this? I saw this. This was good.
This wasn't the one I filmed, but I did film the one later.
Oh, okay.
I walked out of the camp and I saw a T-Rex walk past. And I thought, you're different. All right then. And decided how... Not knowing that this was the Anjanath. I didn't realise at the time. I just lost a T-Rex with hair. I was like, yeah, I reckon I can have you.
Do you like the fact that, just to interject here, that the outfit you're wearing, essentially you can look at that monster and think, you make a lovely cape.
Gonna wear you like a fucking pair of trousers.
That little ruff on the back, like that looks smart.
That is basically it. I was like, that's we can't both turn up wearing the same outfit. One of us has to go home and change, and it's not me. I'm going to cleave it from your back. And I then had probably an hour of trying to fight this Anjanath by myself.
No.
Chasing it, and like it kept running away, and I was doing okay. To be honest, I wasn't doing too badly. I think I had it on the ropes a couple of times. I think I just wasn't proficient enough to deal the damage, and there were long, prolonged sections where it ran away for a while, or I'd get knocked out and have to find it again. And that was a good 3 or 4 minutes of my time gone, just because I had to try and find the bastard. And it kept picking up, oh, the monster's over here. Like, no, not the Jagras. I don't care about the Jagras. I want to find the Anjanath. But yeah, finding him was tricky. But the time I remember the most vividly is I was chasing him through the whole forest, and we were kind of fighting tooth and nail, as you were. I was sort of knocking him pretty well, and he popped his little nose cape fin thing, and he popped his back wings and started doing poison attacks.
Oh yeah, that's when you really know that he's kind of pissed off, where it's like the nose is flaring.
And I'm going to breathe fire up your ass. You're like, oh, please don't. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Oh, I'm on fire now. So I was chasing him through the map, and we're kind of heading up the tree in the middle, and kind of on the top right corner, like heading up the tree, and I was kind of clambering up after him. And I run around the corner, and then I see a dragon steal him. And I stopped for a second and was like, what?
Yeah,
it took a minute. I had a minute of quiet of like,
Yeah, the nice thing is that, and again, this ties into the ecosystem of the world, that you can find something that's dangerous, that's brilliant, that scares the life out of you, and you just go like, you are the king of this environment, and then you can find something else that basically is mammoth pissed off that that's there, that will fight it, that will throw it down a mountainside, that will just, and there's this wonderful level of spectacle that almost feels like, it makes me feel like I'm a little kid watching Harryhausen movies on the cinema again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you just stand there, and as you know, as much as CG is advanced in like Hollywood cinema and stuff, there's something within the prettiness and the resonance of this environment which makes these, and it's probably like the way that they breathe and they move and they react, that just makes them feel more real than stuff we see on the cinema and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, like you're fighting a real monster that's not just doing what it's told, it's behaving and reacting to you, and things are happening. What's the word I'm looking for here? When things just happen in the world without you trying them. Unscripted moments, it's just stuff happens. And
even like the telly's there, and you're there on the couch, like the amount of kind of, oh dear God, no, like is just superb. Like I remember with the Anjanath, there were certain points where we went like, oh, it'd be nice to fight him in this environment, where we got that kind of sunken volcano-like bit. But then soon after we went into like really close like tree environment, and where you could barely move, and you were like, this thing is just too big for here, and it just became like crazy scary trying to get room to maneuver and get by it, and but even that was a problem for the creature in itself, because it got its head stuck in bracken. It eventually got trapped under like vines and stuff. So the environment is as much of a problem as an ally, I think.
And I watched videos where people were using that stuff to their advantage, like shooting the vines traps down and leading the monster into it. Like you can actually activate those yourself.
Cool.
Do you know I had a crack at the Rathalos when I saw it?
Go on. Because
obviously this happened, and it appeared, and it grabbed my Anjanath and picked it up. This is again still in the Jagras mission. Like this is all happening on like the basic level 1.
All right, got you.
So I was like, I'm sacking off the Jagras. I'm going to see what else is here. And it picked it up and it threw it a bit, and I kind of lost the Anjanath. I thought, well, I mean, you're basically the same thing but flying. Go on then. Didn't go well.
No,
didn't go particularly well. I held my own for about a minute and a half, and then it flamed me and it charged me, and I was dead in about 3 hits. It was rough.
I know in like the previous games, because the Rathian is my favourite creature in all of Monster Hunter, and which is kind of like a green version of the Rathalos, I guess, with like different movesets and stuff. But there's points where I've been in previous games where I've been fighting the Rathian and the Rathalos had turned up. Ooh. And I'd just been like, oh, you got like a mission to take them both down. That's just like, it's terrifying. It makes me feel like I'm about 6 years old and I'm watching a Harryhausen film again. It's crazy.
Yeah, it did scare the life out of me. I was very, very terrified. However, I learned something off my friend Jim Tim as well, because I mentioned that I'd done this. If you can get that Rathalos to chase you down to the waterfall bit,
okay.
If you can get him down there, and I might be wrong because this is just second-hand info. If you can get it to attack the waterfall, the dam breaks, and the waterfall washes him off the edge of the cliff.
Oh yes,
right.
See, I'm completely up for this.
We can make that happen.
I've seen the waterfall break on like videos from ages ago, and I think knock a monster off the cliff, but I don't know if it was the Rathalos at that point.
Apparently this is a thing that can happen, and I am determined to make happen now.
And in these missions, you were only getting like about 20 minutes a time, but
you
get on the previous games you get longer for the online missions. I'm pretty sure, but there was also the aspect where you could go out into the village. And you could, you could go out of the village into like the main area, and you could go looking for like supplies and stuff. And there would be a warning that maybe something had been seen in that area. So you can get time to get used to a monster, to practice on a monster, to farm a monster, and also in previous ones you'd maybe get missions to collect like 10 mushrooms or little sort of crappy ones like that, but they're now passive bounties. So you can accept them, and you can be going on a mission to do something else. And if you collect 10 mushrooms, you've got that bounty. So you don't have to go straight back home once you've got them and kind of taking that mission. It will just automatically put it through. So again, it's another smart decision they've made on something that was a standard, where you just go, that's really good.
That's really
and
clever.
you start learning from that environment that you can get combinations of like the insects and the creatures and the things that you find in the forest, and you can start mixing them up and making different stuff and experimenting further from there. It's really neat.
Ooh. I had speaking of running around and like doing odd stuff, I had one of the little Jagras things follow me as a friend for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I made friends with it, and it was following me around and helping attack the Anjanath.
Really?
Yeah. One of the little baby ones.
You had essentially a Dino Nigel.
Yeah.
A Nigersaur.
Ooh. Nigerdon.
No, that sounds wrong.
Nigerteratop? No, we'll work on that. We'll come back. So that was odd. And apparently, I've been told that palicos can ride them.
Oh, this is genius! This is making me so happy.
I broke you. So I decided.
Oh, that's so cool.
I decided, this is the mission after. I had about an hour on the Anjanath, and it wasn't happening. I think if I'd have had the full 45 minutes or whatever it is, I'd have had him. Like, I know I had him on the ropes a couple of times. Like, he was limping, he was running away, he kept going up to the Rathalos. I'm like, no, don't go there, because the devil is up there. Don't. Oh, he's gone up there again. What a prick. So I decided, no, I'm going to have a go at this Jagras thing. Go on then. And I clobbered him in less than 3 minutes. That felt good. That felt good. World's strongest boy. Like, I was really like. So I went out of the hub, out of the camp, and he just walked in front of me like, oh, here he is. Okay, then let's have a go. And I don't know what it was. Maybe the gods that aligned. Maybe I'd found my rhythm with it. But I was just able to knock him on his ass very easily. Barely even hit me. It was that quick that I was able to save the clip and put it onto YouTube for all to see. With the title, I think it was like Elite Pro Best Monster Hunter Gamer Ever. Speaking of, what did you name your first character in the beta?
Well, I named the girl Coffee, funnily enough, but I named the cat Java.
That's
which
quite clever.
I was very proud of that. And if I ever did have a cat, I'm allergic to cats. But if I ever had a cat, I would call it Java, and would like to maybe find there must be somebody on Etsy that makes palico clothes for cats. But yeah, I was chuffed with that. What did you name your first Monster Hunter character?
Right. Well, I thought
No. What did you name your first Monster Hunter character?
Monster Hunter.
What did you name your first palico?
Hunter Monster.
See, this is what I have to deal with.
Well, I thought, why don't I, go all in and be, the hunter on the front of the box? Like, Monster Hunter World, yeah, this is my world. I'm in charge of this.
Have you seen a game, though, where it's like, you are Monster Hunter. Go in with your pet palico cat, Hunter Monster, to go hunter the monsters. Together, you, the Monster Hunter, and Hunter Monsters. In January, from Capcom. Yeah.
It's like that picture of the tag of the this T-shirt is made by Mark for Mark Jacobs. A subsidiary of Jacobs by Mark for Mark Jacobs. A subsidiary of Mark Jacobs by Mark for Jacobs.
That was good.
I was very proud of that.
So you did rename your character later on, I think.
I think the main character I've not settled on, but I did find the name from a palico of Paw Dust, which I was quite happy with.
Yeah, that was chuffed with that.
Yeah, I like Paw Dust. Always the orange cat. And when I get the full customized, it will still be probably an all orange cat mostly because I did like it, and I like that you can dress him up as a dinosaur. If
you made your final character with a sullen expression, you could have Sadie Paw Dust.
Oh God.
You could do that, which also works.
But I want to be happy.
Yeah,
we're killing all the monster.
I was just leaning into the pun.
But then I then had another run around in the Barros by myself because I thought I'm going to have a go. I'm going to take the Barros out by myself, definitely. And I met another Satan.
Oh yeah, let me see, that's
Diablo.
The Diablos. That's the one that I saw like skulking around in one bit and just went like, oh no.
Yeah, I was running around. I went underneath an area. Like, I was running around a mountainy bit, and I saw, like, a little pathway that went down and underneath, sort of like curved underneath where I was. And I'll go see what's down there. And your camera turns around, and he's as big as the cave. You're like, huh. And the guide is like, wow, he's the lord of this area. Maybe we should leave him alone. I was like, do you know what? For the first time, I'm going to listen to you and leave him alone.
There is that level of all bravery goes out the window. There can be like a bit where you're fighting a certain monster and you think like, I'm all right at this. And then all of a sudden you can just see something and the body language of the creature and the way that it moves, even when it's being like sullen, you just think like, I'm going to go that way instead.
He's not fighting me because he doesn't need to. Oh, he's on a whole different power level. You know what? Not today, fucko.
Yeah.
And I left him to it. If I'd have had more time with the beta, I'd have gone back another crack later, I think.
But again, you've got that momentum in the final game whereby you'll kill monsters, you build armor sets, you take on better monsters, you get armor sets that can counter those monsters, you get better weapons and upgrades. So something that can seem, more than your standard at first. The better that you get and the more that you understand the game, the more confident you are at going and taking a crack at it.
Yeah.
But then the game will give you bigger monsters than that and throw you out of your comfort zone again. So there's this constant level of you don't take this world for granted because you might see a certain portion of it, but there's stuff coming up which is just beyond you at that point.
Yeah.
Radity.
Fully agree. But we then, the last night of the beta, wasn't it? I think.
I don't know, because I remember...
Because I was running out of time, yeah. It must have been Monday night we did this.
No,
we decided to have a proper crack at the engine, didn't we?
No, I think that was Sunday night. Because Monday night it finished at... Oh no, it was Tuesday that it finished, wasn't it?
It must have been Monday night then.
Yeah, because I went on with Nord just before on the final few hours before the end of the beta. So yeah, I think that was Tuesday. So it must have been Monday that we went on. You're right.
Yeah, and we had a proper go at the Anjanath, which I learned was the main boss of that third one. I was like, so I was having a go at the big guy. So it is doable.
Just us two. We weren't bringing in sort of randos, and we didn't really have a squad of 4 that we could get used to. But again, if somebody was watching on. That didn't know that I'd put 350 hours into one of these before and you were new to it, they probably would have made the opposite decision as to who was the enthusiast on here, because you were a monster on this, no pun intended. You genuinely
I was brave.
You genuinely No, I mean in the game in general, but also here, that you were excited, you were scared, but you were trying your best, you were trying different stuff, you were reacting, and just hearing the level of kind of vocal and enthusiasm, and just hearing somebody that thought a series wasn't for them, and all of a sudden a series is now streamlined and made better and more accessible, and just hearing you that in was just it was something that I didn't take for granted during the beta or even afterwards, because it was just a joy.
Thanks. Yeah, it was. I think part of that joyous last night with it, because I'd spent so much time on him on my own, like it was almost like unfinished business at that point. Like, I am fucking sick of you.
Yeah.
You prick. I'm having you. I don't care what it takes. I'm having you. And unfortunately, I don't think we didn't get it in the end, did we? We were close a couple of times, but we kept pissing off the Jagras as well. And I think at one point, you took an unlucky swipe from his fire, went down, and then him and the Jagras both turned to look at me like, we both hate you. Like, no, leave me.
Wasn't it the last one where we had the Rathlost sort of involved?
Oh god, yeah, it appeared like, oh fuck, oh
yeah, and I think you tried to climb up some vines, and it sort of flamed through you off the vines and stuff, and then you were like, I'm on fire, and I was like, roll, and you were like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not on fire. I really enjoyed us trying to kind of taunt him near like slopes, because I think I've worked out how to get on top of him pretty easily then. The hammer's got a really nice slide charge where you kind of jump off the ledge and kind of just spin around in the air a few times. Does really good damage and usually lands on him. So I was just trying to jump on him and just keep smacking him in the face, which was almost a guaranteed knockdown every time I did it. So I'm going to keep doing this shit because it's working, you know. But no, that entire like hour we spent doing that was just It didn't feel like an hour.
We had so much fun with it, and it felt like it felt more like I'd gone to see a film. There wasn't even a level of, in sort of retrospect where you're pulling out the moments that happened in that. Those moments aren't connected to holding a joypad. They're it's almost as if you just devoured spectacle and you're just sort of sitting back and taking it all in, but you're there. And this is only sort of one of the areas or a version of one of the areas that's going to be in the main game, which is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like all the odd stuff that happens where you got it on the ropes and it buggers off. You're like, don't you dare, you little prick! Let me just sharpen my. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to sharpen my hammer, which kept making me laugh. Like, hang on, my hammer's gone blunt. 1 second. Let me just. There we go. That's it. Got it sharp again. And just the sheer just fun of chasing it through the world again, having it break down walls and things and come through different areas. Like, oh, we're here now. Oh, this is all slope. He's fucked. And the shared triumph of us both knocking him over. Go now. Pile in. He's down. There was one moment where he knocked me right on my ass, and I had maybe a 10% of my health left, and it did that film thing where a giant monster will knock someone down and the camera will be right up close to the person and the thing is walking towards me, leaning its head down like it's going to eat me. And I distinctly remember shouting, "Save me! Please save me! Please! Please now! Please! Please save me!" And I think you ran in from the side, cracked him in the face with your longsword, and he got annoyed enough that I was able to get up and run away.
See,
Thank you.
Love that. And I kind of love that there's still that level of being able to connect with other players as well, because there were points where you were sort of smashing into something, like hit me with the hammer, and you were like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but..." And then we're attempting to explain what you were doing whilst I was kind of flying on the floor.
Oh God, your big sword you brought out that time, the Wyvern blade, the big red one. I'm almost certain you knocked me on my ass about 6 times in one fight without what's going on?
But it is easy to get carried away once you've "Yeah, I'm powered up," and now she's like, "Nothing get in my way, don't stop me now." It's having such a good time.
You go into your plus ultra mode, you're ready. Yeah,
I think it's a given that's a thing.
I definitely shouted "Get fucked, mate" at this dinosaur a few times. Sit down,
So yeah, I went on the final day with my friend Noor. Just again, we've sort of done some co-op before on The Division and Destiny and recently Warframe as well. She'd never played a Monster Hunter before, and it was exactly the same sort of thing that I saw with you. That within minutes she was doing new stuff, and she tried out quite a few weapons as well. It was interesting going into a battle where I was using, I think I might have been sort of monkeying about with switch axe, although I did try sword and shield at a certain point with the Anjanath, which didn't go well at all because I've got a really small sword and you're trying to chop into something that's that quick and that nasty. I was barely connecting and barely doing damage. But she tried out bows, and that was great, having somebody distracting it and doing damage from distance, which was cool. She tried out a few different weapons within the 2 hours that we had. We didn't manage to take it down, but I wanted to show her that creature before it ended, because I wanted her to see the sheer spectacle of the Anjanath.
Oh,
because
definitely.
It completely is. It's like a ride, isn't it?
Yeah, a furry T-Rex ride.
So what were your thoughts on? Hold on, there's something else that I got here as well. There was a bit on IGN about the beta, and it says if you do manage to clear all 3 of the main quests, you get a unique face paint for use in the final game. The first time you clear each of the quests, you receive a pack of common but helpful and consumables for the full game, including max potions, life powders, and traps, etc., which is kind of cool. Vita remote play is enabled. Yeah, mate.
Interesting.
Yeah. So IGN state that the main game will be more challenging than the beta, and give an example of the Pukei, I think it is, Pukei Pukei in a 17-minute battle. I linked you to the Game Awards trailer and I saw a breakdown of that. I think by Gaijin Hunter, where it sort of shows more of the story. And
was that the trailer where they're fighting the mountain?
Yeah, there's well, I think they're trying to stop it advancing, and you can kind of get on the back of the creature and stuff. Like it literally is like walking along like a level, but this is the scope of the creature. And that one showed the Uragon as well, which is one of my favourites. The guy with the massive jaw that like curls up into like a wheel and just like rolls towards you and stuff.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
So yeah, that was really cool. But have you considered whether you're going to go for like a special edition or a collector's edition or the main game, or
I think
digital or disc?
Nah, disc, definitely disc. I like my disc games because you can usually get for about 40 quid, and digital games cost more than physical ones, and that drives me crazy.
Yeah, if you can find that magic moment where you can get a good deal on credit. That's good, and there is something to be said for this kind of game existing just on your system, so you don't have to find the disc.
True, but
so you can just crash on the couch.
It's not a big deal for me. I can get up. It's okay. I'm
still in Revelations
2012. I'm in possession of all my limbs. I can still change a disc. But yeah, I think I'll be going just standard edition. I don't think I need to get any special edition stuff for this. I'm just going to go standard edition for now. I've kind of veered quite heavily away from special editions of games, not to get too sidetracked here, but the last few ones have come out, I thought, I might get a special edition. Like, do I need another statue? Not really. It's more dusting, isn't it?
To be honest, this one is a statue of a monster, and that makes it a little more special.
Yeah,
because it seems like the digital edition does have two really nice PS4 themes, which come with it. I think one of those might come with a standard one for pre-order anyway.
But you see that, then I'd have to change out my PS2 Legacy one, and I'm not doing that.
I understand that.
That theme's nice.
That might have swept you away when I saw that announced. That was pretty cool.
That did things to me.
There's a strange one that I noticed. It's the regular disc release, and I was thinking, well, different retailers will maybe have like. One will have like a key ring, or another one will have like a toy or a T-shirt and stuff. And the only other thing I've seen beyond the collector's edition is Amazon have got Steelbook, but they're charging like 23 quid more than the main game for a Steelbook version.
Well, Steel's expensive.
Which is insane.
And everyone's going to buy it.
I mean, I think the game itself is knocking around 42 quid at the minute. Just the standard one. I think the special edition is about 120 with a statue, soundtrack selection, art book, which interests me because I've got the previous Monster Hunter Designs art books that you did.
Yeah.
They're really nice. And I think there's a load of digital extras like other haircuts and faces and things that are in there, and
haircuts.
Yeah, there's extra haircuts and faces and other bits that you can. I think you can. That's going to be like purchasable DLC. Although they've said that like they're not going to be charging for DLC beyond that. That there's going to be this constant update of like new monsters and new armor and stuff. They're doing.
Sorry, the bin men are here, by the way. That's the sound you're hearing.
Wonder what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's at the door? Oh, it's the Rathalos. But yeah, they've. One of the videos I was watching was saying that with them rolling out new monsters and new armor and stuff, they've essentially got the chance to kind of keep balancing the game as it goes on, whilst giving people new stuff. If they are just charging extra for like sticker packs and haircuts and face paints and stuff, fine with that, no problem at all.
Isn't there the thing from Horizon in there? They got an Aloy set.
Yes,
which is kind of fun.
This is what I was thinking, right? Because they've had in previous ones in the past, they've had, and you'll know exactly where I'm going with this once I mention it. They've had anime armors.
Yeah.
Right. So they've had, I think, Yu-Gi-Oh's. There's been some Yu-Gi-Oh armor in the past, and I think there's been another anime that's had it. Mate, can you imagine if they did like some JoJo armor?
Oh,
or they allowed you to have a helmet that like was like JoJo's quiff?
Don't. say those words.
I think that'd be. I mean, this already feels like 2018 is getting its Game of the Year on January 26th, and everything else you might as well just fuck off E3.
Well, did you see the Palico armor you can get?
Go on. Oh, I mean, I
like Mega Man.
That's really cool.
A digital cubey blocky Mega Man that plays different music depending on which weapon you're using.
That's fantastic. It has to be said though, when you were going through those designs of the Palico anyway, it was like, oh, I can put him in that cute little forest outfit with the thing, or I can make him look like a chibi dinosaur.
Yeah,
it's essentially like I've made a cartoon version of the creature based on bits from the creature.
I'm going to kill you with this bad version of you. Ha! Yeah. And I'm wearing a cape.
But they gave away loads of stuff on the previous versions with like Zelda armor and all that kind of stuff on the 3DS. So I'm wondering if you. Oh my god!
Medieval's coming out, isn't it? Medieval's coming out. That's a Daniel Fortescue armor set. I'd wear that.
If you could have any armor from anything else, be it an anime or a game, come into this, what would you choose?
Oh, that's a really hard question. Any game or any anime, like any outfit in this game. Shit, that's really difficult. Feel for time. I'm just looking at my shelves. Metal Gear Rex.
You see,
as a player,
I was going to say like Metal Gear would be kind of a cool one for your armor sets anyway. If you could go in as like Raiden or something from Metal Gear Revengeance, or like Doom Guy would be quite funny with the soundtrack. It'd be interesting.
Imagine fighting a dinosaur to that soundtrack.
It'd be interesting to see what they choose. I could see, especially with the sort of grappling stuff that you could get if they did an Attack on Titan outfit. I could see that working sort of really well, especially with the swords that you're using and stuff, and doing those sort of swings like Soxy did on that creature's tail. That could work, especially if you got like the ghillie was like the little sort of cape on the back, and I just think that. That seems kind of quite an obvious one, really.
Yeah.
But it depends what Capcom do.
I've worked out my Palico. Sonic the Hedgehog.
See, that would work very well.
That'd be a laugh. And every time he gets hit, rings fall out.
Although it would probably be like I can see like a version of you like in October next year, and you were like you just standing there wearing your Crash Bandicoot like armor, and it's essentially like your head in its mouth.
I've got it. I've worked it out. I know what armor I would have as like a wearable armor. I've worked it out for the player. I would have Gurren Lagann.
See, that's another good one.
Think how fucking but instead of like a sword weapon, it's the glasses. Because can you tell I was watching it the other day while I was doing my present wrapping?
I know.
Oh, I love that show so much. Yeah. Oh Christ. Yeah. Give me like a kind of while it's kind of a very nice, very well designed world, very fantasy. It's got some humor in it, but it's like a very kind of well put together world. I do kind of just want to have some really like anachronistic, odd stuff in there.
Oh, I can guarantee.
Dunk shit, like some really dumb stuff, like whoa, I'm a robot.
Yeah, I don't think that's when you've got a world this fantastical. I don't think they're too shy about messing about in it and letting people have fun. So, with the final game, would you say after this that you'd had preconceptions or misconceptions about the series, and how would you say that they've evolved since playing the beta?
Well, I mean, most of my ideas about the game have come from my initial play of the PSP game, and that time I watched you do a bit while I was at your house. That was basically it. Like, I've kind of observed it in the cultural land of being the game that took over Japan for a few years, where everybody bought a PSP, and it's the reason the PSP did so well. Over there, and it didn't really pick up over here, which is why the PSP didn't sell well over here. Or we all read articles about it. It's fine. I thought it was more, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it felt like more of a high-level game that I wouldn't be able to get into. Like, it feels like you need a lot of knowledge about the game. And obviously, you know, as you go on, you will. But, like, even that first barrier to entry, from what I'd played, I was like, I don't know what any of this shit is. And, like, it felt, I don't know, slow to look at. Like, every mission was going to take 45 minutes. Every single time you go back to the main base, and you're there for, like, I mean, on the PSP, I was there for, like, 10 minutes trying to sort out, I need to use this to make this armor to get that. And it was kind of slow, and it was tedious. And I've very definitely drifted away from that style of game recently, the last few years anyway. If I'm playing a game that asks me to go into menu 17 times to do anything, I'm probably out already. Like, I want to get to the fun part of the game. To give you a good example, I've been playing Yakuza on PS2 the last couple of weeks. And that game gets to the fun part really quick. There's quite a lot of cutscenes going on, but they're really interesting, and there's not a lot of like downtime fiddling about. The game is get up in someone's face and punch them and throw a bicycle at their face. Like, it's like, go, be cool, be a cool dude. And like, from what I've seen of World, what I've played of World, it seemed to cut down on the bullshit quite quickly. The fact that it had a training area to muck about in, the fact that it just will let you choose a map, choose a point and kick out. Like, I don't know if that's how it normally works, but... And the fact that it's one big world, because I think when I've seen you play it, and when I've watched other people play it, because the world seemed to be split up into various discrete chunks, I don't know, I didn't like that, and I can't put my finger on why. The idea of once a monster goes through a doorway, it's gone, and you've got to find it all again. Like, I prefer the fact that you can physically chase the damn thing. And given it's on, you know, given that where we are with the hardware and things these days, of course it had to be this kind of... Of course it had to be open world at this point. Like, I think if it was going through load screen doorways again, I don't know if I'd have glommed on quite as well, because I quite enjoyed the fact of it's there, I can see it, it's not getting away.
The thing is, though, that that aspect is still there. That you can still, you know, the monsters in Area 6 or whatever, but you can just instantly sort of grapple up to one of those flying creatures, and it will take you to Area 6. So I'm impressed that they've taken something that that was seemingly a standard that had got an audience that would always sort of come out for it, and they've not only made it prettier, but they've really sort of thought again about every single aspect of the game, and just gone, how can we make this better? And the fact that they've found that wonderful duality between the experts absolutely loving what's being done, and new players are coming on board and just going like, oh my god, I don't know everything about this, but this is amazing. And having that kind of really excited curiosity to discover more, and to sort of knowing a certain part of it, but sort of nibbling on the edges of that, and that growing outwards, I think is it just shows that they've hit the sweet spot, I guess.
I think the world seems a lot more designed as well. Like, there's a lot more, again, from what I've seen of like you playing in my old time, like the areas themselves were kind of nice looking, but quite flat and quite simple. Whereas these have been really kind of intricate and well designed, and like there's quite a lot of verticality going on. Like, you know, you said with the 3DS one, like there's a lot of verticality going on, and they feel like alive.
I'd say
they don't just feel like maps that are being chunked together. Like, it feels like a place.
I wouldn't agree that the previous ones didn't have that level of kind of liveliness, because the basis of what we're seeing now is definitely there. Like, there was a living, breathing ecosystem. And it might have been, you know, a touch more clunky compared to what we're seeing in the beta now, but it was definitely there. That was part of the attraction.
Maybe it's just the perception. You know, maybe it's just how I've seen it. Then that
the different levels and areas, but this one's got more depth, more things that you can do within those individual areas. It just looks like they've noticed what worked, and they've added more to it without overcomplicating it, and just sort of giving these extra sort of ancillary levels of fun and discoveries. And
yeah, for sure.
I like that very much indeed.
Me too.
What would you say was the best discovery that you made in the game?
Ooh, teeth suck. I think my favourite thing, was probably, in terms of this, I don't know. Working out how to jump on things' backs pretty regularly was quite fun. That was good. But I think my favourite bit was seeing a different monster turn up in the same hunt. The fish was my favourite.
The choke out was just phenomenal.
It was happening like 2 feet from us. Like, this is happening. I'm scared now.
And you'd stop and you'd be looking at that. You'd be like, oh my god! And then just in front of you see that cat in the dinghy again. Yeah. And you'd be it never got old.
Look at his silly face,
my friend.
I think the fact as well that the fish monster was kind of a bit of a hindrance in our first game, and then turned up like a goddamn hero in the second time we did it. It was like, I like you, fish. You can stay. I think fish monster turning up mid-fight was my favourite part, and that's probably been in there before anyway. But that, as a new player, that was like, oh, this is cool. Oh no, it's on. Stand back, get some biscuits. It's on.
I think from spectacle, it was that, and also the Rathalos moment, just seeing you at distance climbing up, like, oh no, and then just seeing it, boom, and you get knocked back off those vines and stuff.
What's up there, Satan?
There was also the thing with the that I've not sort of quite shaken with the noise of the Anjanath's bite, which really was like hard bones like smashing together angrily. And as much as it could sort of flare its nostrils, and I did love its like cheeky back kick as well. It's just like a fuck off.
Yeah.
But that bone, like the sheer sort of
the like click teeth, of it,
it was the click and the weight of it, and it just seemed like something that would just sort of tear you in. So you did scream out at one point, "Something's eating me," and I can't think which creature it was.
That was the bit before the Anjanath was going to do the movie walk up to me we were talking about earlier, where it was walking up steadily and slowly with it in my camera. That was before that. It bit me, threw me on the floor, and was stalking me.
I mean, I remember. I think one of my favourite moments in a previous game was there was a creature that I had to trap, and you didn't get into the traps on the beta, and that's kind of cool when you lure a creature into like either a vine trap, like you lay a trap down, or a shock trap, and you're essentially trying to weaken it to the point where it can't struggle and it can't get free. And there was a point where I had to capture a creature, and I'd been poisoned, and I got no more sort of antidotes, and I was across the other side of like this area. I'd laid down trap, and there was a creature that was literally doing like sort of rubbing its feet on the floor, like, I'm gonna come and get you in a minute, like preparing to run. And I screamed at the telly, "Come on, then!" And like I ran at the creature ran at me. It fell into the trap. My health was like dwindling at this point. I swung the sword on its head, and it sort of went unconscious. And I watched the final seconds tick down as my final seconds ticked down. Ooh. And the creature was trapped. And I just went like, it was this primal like, like it's like something from Highlander. It's just. Oh, like I raised both fists into the air and like screamed at the sky, like properly, like roared. And I think that was the point where my heart was racing. I'd been fighting for like 45 minutes against this creature, and I was like, yeah, this is really good. And those battles, because there's no health bar on the creature, you are noticing like the way kind of it dribbles, or it pants, or the way that it kind of. I love the point where I think it was in the Baroth fight where you sort of hit it in the ankle, and it genuinely looks like it's been like kind of pulling its ankle away, like and it sort of falls over and stuff. The bits where you smash parts off the monster and stuff, and just.
I like the bit where I hit him with the hammer and it stunned him, and he just stands there kind of jittering and shaking like he's having a seizure.
Yeah.
That was fun, like that.
But even when you think you've got a creature on the ropes, that a lot of the time that can mean that it's either going to try and get back to an area where it's most comfortable, or it feels that it can fight the most, or it's just going to go absolutely mental, like this death rattle of a vicious final fight to try and get rid of the invader, and you don't know what's going to happen within each of those. And obviously, as you go further on into the game, different areas are going to affect that, and you might be coming across something that you've not met before, and you're like, holy fuck, what are you? And it throws you out your comfort zone time again, and that's really neat.
Clever monsters.
So, yeah. So I presume you're in for the final game then.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, no, I am.
Yeah, I know you are.
I'm
Right,
in. It's that easy. I'm in. Sorted. That's January sorted.
We put out some.
Did we?
Call.
Did we?
Put out a call to our peeps.
Did you?
I did. It was me.
I didn't.
Yeah. So feedback wise, let me see.
Are you saying the feedback is all wise?
It's
Feedback wise.
Of course, it's our peeps.
It's true.
It's our peeps. Love you, peeps.
Hi, peeps.
Night Twitten says, played the beta and had a blast. I'd probably best if I read out the question.
You read the question.
So how remiss of me. So I put out a message saying, Monster Underworld, did you play the beta? Care to share your thoughts? Are you new to the series, enthusiast or expert? Think it wasn't for you? Has that changed? And to let us know either on them twits or on the emails.
Or send us a letter.
Yeah, pigeon post. So Night Twitten says, played the beta and had a blast. I played a fair bit of Monster Hunter 4, but the small screen on the 3DS made it hard for me to really stick with it. Now it's on console, it's 100% my jam. I had a ton of fun running around and exploring the environments. Samuel Mills says, new to the series. It's been on my radar a while though. Played the beta. It's a really fun, pretty game. Once I figured out the controls, I thought it was cool. I think this will be a co-op game for me.
Ooh,
fair play.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed playing it on my own, but I would, I enjoyed this. I mean, I enjoyed both equally. I think. But
it is that thing that you can play with your mates, but also, like I say, the online stuff in 3 Ultimate was great because you could just party with people. It's a great way to pass the time. The monsters are cool. You can bring back stuff that you can then throw into your own weapons and your armor, and you meet up next time and like, what are you wearing?
I like your hat.
Yes, I look forward to you saying it just like that.
I like your hat.
Yeah, I like your hat just like that.
Oh.
So Threnser says, played it and enjoyed it immensely. I'm a 500+ hour vet.
Ooh.
Many serious players would laugh at that as a large number though, and I like most of the changes here. Universal armor. I might actually play a gunner class at some point, and the scout flies could use a few less particles, but I'm good.
Interesting.
Having a proper second stick for aiming and the increased field of view being on a larger screen are the best quality of life changes for me. Really looking forward to launch.
I've heard a lot of people talking about that camera. Was it rubbish then before? Was it not as good as it could have been?
Yeah, I think on the if I remember rightly, on the Wii U, you got sort of your left and right. Your left thumbstick was like normal, but your right one, I think you could like move it up a bit, down a bit, or down a bit. So I don't think it was like as free range. Maybe, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been on it. So
okay.
Mukaram says really enjoyed it. Stays true to Monster Hunter while adding loads of cool new mechanics. Definitely going to get it on PC for better frame rate. I think that's a touch later, isn't it? Lack of blood in the beta was messing with me, but as far as I know, it's an option in the settings. Got around 2,000 hours in Monster Hunter, maybe more. Yeah,
it's a lot of hours.
I think Tamor was saying that Mukaram's like doesn't mess around with this sort of stuff. Personally, a lot of the bigger hitting weapons like the GS and Hammer don't feel like they have a lot of weight behind them, and I think the blood plus the new sound effect when melee weapons connect are the reason. It sounds like you're crushing rocks instead of cutting flesh. I agree in the fact that because it's quicker, there is a less physicality it feels about swinging sort of a giant weapon, but I'm fine for that sort of compromise. Mukaram goes on to say, makes sense for monsters like Baroth when he's armoured, Uragan, Basarios and Gravios, but not for monsters like Anjanath, Diabolus, etc. So yeah, I think we'll be mining that knowledge, good sir.
Ooh.
When we get to it. Gadget Girl Kylie, if you've not checked out her videos, check out her videos anyway. But I got into when I was getting into Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, that was when I found Kylie in her videos. Then she's already ballparking the videos she's put out already. I'm really curious about the nature walks. I haven't watched those yet, but I know she's done just like wandering around through the world and looking at the bits that we might not have seen fighting the monsters. So and she is very good at it. Although I did question as to why she called her Palico Chris, which is her boyfriend's name. It was like, really? And Chris was just...
That says something about the relationship, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's not go
It's like when you play Dragon's Dogma and you name your pawn after your significant other. Like, you've just turned them into a slave. That's not cool. You're
just sending your loved one into other people's games. Why? So anyway, Kylie says Monster Hunter Veteran. The beta was everything I'd hoped for, giving a small taste of what's to come. Beautiful, detailed environments with wonderful immersive touches, a living ecosystem that you can get lost in. Beautiful graphics. Would love a 30 frames per second locked mode rather than fluctuating frame rate, or of course 60 frames per second. Loving the use of the glider mantle and the option to use the environment and turf wars to your advantage. Every time the monsters fight each other, it's a sight to behold. And of course, let's not forget the real stars of the show, our amazing cat friends. So happy they have full customization options when they ride the small monsters or make friends. Oh, my heart can't take it. I didn't notice the making friends thing, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I actually had that. I found some cats in the wild that said as long as you've got your Palico with you, they'll follow you. And I don't think I got a bit confused and I kind of lost them, but there were definitely some just hanging around, yeah.
Because in the previous game, because you didn't have like a Palico yet, I had like this little sort of small child with an acorn for a head that was sort of following me. And when you discovered the cats in the wild, they just try and rob you and then dig underground. So this is a new thing for me. Huh. But yeah, check out Kylie's videos because they're ace, and she's a top lady too. James Timbrell says, been playing.
Hey, that's my friend Jim Tim.
Is that Jim Tim?
That's Jim Tim.
Cool.
Hi, Jim Tim.
Hello. He says, been playing since my OG Monster Hunter demo disc on PS2. Loving a lot of it for the sheer wow factor, but it's weird not having chunks of areas. Combat is the best yet accessible. Combat is the best yet accessible yet still old school. I found the scout flies hard to follow though, and missed the mini map of old. Yeah, I agree with that.
You mentioned that, yeah. I think as a new player, that for me was not a thing. I think I would have liked a mini map, especially when we were getting lost. Because there was points where we got separated. Like, where are you? South. Which south? And then we just couldn't find each other, could we?
Because that was a cool thing on Wii U, because it actually made use of the screen on the controller, so you could have the map there, and you even had your potions and all that sort of wheel. You had that on the screen, so you could just like press them when you wanted them and stuff.
Hey,
that was cool. But you could also
good use for the Vita cross controller, eh? Hey.
Yeah, man. If they do it that way, that'd be really cool. But they also had an option to customize all that stuff as well, so you could decide what was on that little screen or not. In fact, on the main screen as well. So I'm wondering if that might make it through to the finished game.
Handy.
Let me see. Max Hart said, this relates to the question by question. So he's played it, watched streams forever, but never played because of region locks. Wanted in for the social element. Cannot find anybody new or old to it that didn't go in for it day one after the beta. My life will be better with Monster Hunter World.
There you go. Changing hearts.
I mean, it was weird on that front because I saw a headline for an article on Rolling Stone, which I presume is like Glixel. Is that their video game arm?
I think so, yeah.
Which said that Monster Hunter World beta won't change anybody's mind. And it's been my experience that that's not the case.
Well, it sounds like that Max Hart has had a change of heart.
Well, he goes on to
see what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did, because Will Hughes says, I've only played Ultimate 4, but the removal of loading screens between areas is an absolute game changer, which is kind of cool. But so thank you for that, Will.
Thumb up.
But Max Hart goes on to say, glancing over a forum thread again, I'm ready to say it's got a 100% approval rating. Very supportive community for new players. I'd agree with that. Unlike anything else, questions get answered, tips get handed out regularly, and guides. Yeah, Gaijin Hunter's going to be doing like loads of weapons guides. The Erex videos have just been fantastic so far.
That's really good as well, because I was hoping to learn off you, but after our time together, clearly that's going to be a mistake.
Well, I mean,
which camp are you at?
But again, that's been part of the joy. I mean, how many games can you say that you can go in where one person's put a good chunk of time into it, and the other one's coming in absolutely fresh, and that new person is just like boom, like straight into it, and it was just joyous to see you, running ahead, knowing what you were doing, learning on the job, and you adapted to the beta far quicker than I did.
Would you 100%. Say? Here's an interesting thought. Then, would you say that because I was brand new to it, would you say that it was easier for me to? I think maybe it might have been then easier for me to get into it straight away because I was learning this game, whereas you were trying to relearn a game but different. It's like when a new Metal Gear comes out and it controls different, and it takes me a couple of hours to get used to it.
I think there were. I mean, I was on that initial sort of few levels. I was going in with the longsword, so there's that level of familiarity. I think there was definitely a degree of awe with the way that it looked, and yeah, the stuff around the edges, sort of trying to process that. But I think, moreover, that they've made it so easy for you to come in, get a handle on what you were doing, learn on the job as you go, to get lost in that awe. But when the fight was coming on, I mean, you've got the differential between the two fights with the Great Jaguars. Mm-hmm. The first time, you were going in, you were testing out the things that you'd learned in the training camp, and you were getting used to the hammer and stuff. That second one, I think it might even have been the second one with Baroth as well. We were chasing that boy down super quickly. He was limping away, and then to see that video that you put up where you were just something the Great Jaguars didn't get a hit on you and stuff. That's great to see. And part of my my distance and maybe like wonderful sort of bewilderment was just seeing you adapt to it. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think because I picked an easier maybe or simpler weapon, more straightforward. Like the hurdles of like learning all the combos were gone. It was just like right, here's what I can do. How do I apply that to that? Simple.
But we then see like the things that the experts are doing in their videos, and you're like, I want to learn this. So it's not just sort of you going in and you know everything about it. There's sort of layers beyond the things that you know, and you're just going to get better and more fluid at it. And I can only imagine especially after seeing Sox, RX, and there was another fellow that was sort of playing with them at the same time, and they were just like tearing into stuff. It was amazing. Like seeing multiple experts all sort of on the same page and all like showing off their Jedi capabilities was just superb. What you say? Jeremy Greer says, after being told for years that my Souls obsession would translate into lifelong Monster Hunter and the game's failing to live up to it, I spent 30 minutes in Monster Hunter World and knew it was something special day one for me. I think Jeremy was saying that he just played enough to go like, I'm not spoiling any more of this. I'm comfortable with what's there, which is something that I've seen a few other places as well. Just folks going like, yeah, I'm good with this.
Yeah, that do.
You got me. But Monster Hunter as well, it's always been a criticism that it's rarely demoed well. I know the demo on Wii U was atrocious. Yeah, it's good to know that that's the case as well.
For sure. That's an interesting point. I was told that Souls would translate well to this, and I never quite got it until now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that for you that there's that we've done Warframe beforehand, because that sort of hunter-gatherer like builder aspect, which is the thing that
sorry, no, Monster Hunter, Monster Gatherer.
I think it's the thing that I was confident that Brad Galloway would get about Warframe. I was equally hopeful that you doing that in Warframe would translate to you kind of getting Monster Hunter and getting on with it. So
yeah,
I'm just going to plug in something else here because we got a message from Vader Van Onen.
Pluggage.
It's crazy to think I've been listening to you Cool Dudes for about 4 years now. Thank you for all the awesomeness.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
That's super lovely. Thank you.
Thanks.
The Lore Hunter said, newcomer, only got to play 3 of the single player 20-minute missions. Looked really good. I enjoyed my time, but was both intrigued and daunted by the systems and play. My interest is piqued, but I will probably wait and listen to the conversation around launch before grabbing it. Here, I'd say, like, get it day one, get in with the rest of us, and like we've done with Warframe, just we'll all figure it out together. That's the fun part. So yeah, I mean that's always gonna happen with the game of this sort of complexity. But pick your weapon, get in with the rest of us and just have fun and try and pass it.
Party up, friend. Plus, you might have the chance to play with the Pro Ultimate Monster Hunter player, which is me.
Yeah, we can only dream.
Pro X.
I mean, I'm that's really all the stars in the sky that I'm counting. Thank you for letting me play with Paddy. Pro Ultimate 360 no scope.
I've been doing it wrong these last 3 years.
Yeah. I got to play with Monster Hunter and Hunter Monster. So Vader Van Odin goes on to say, I tried the game at PAX Australia and was sold on it. I've only played Monster Hunter on the PSP as a demo. I didn't fancy it then, but Monster Hunter World looks amazing and plays well. I only spent a few minutes with the beta, but we'll be picking it up upon release. So, yeah, more the merrier.
Good man, even if we are in different time zones.
Yeah. Alex79 UK says, personally, the demo entirely failed to win me over, and believe me, I was desperate to be won over. To that, I'd just say if the game sort of hits a price point and a point where you're perhaps not playing anything, you think like, yeah, I'll give this another go. You might get, folks that have done like breakdowns of weapons and videos, and Robin Kissinger's on Twitter did an amazing Monster Hunter 3 weapon breakdown, which helped me get on with just tons of stuff that I didn't know about the main weapons, and that helped me with my click, but that click didn't come until a little while later with Monster Hunter 3, where I was like, I think I understand this now.
Look how long it took you to like Bloodborne.
Exactly. I mean, so it might not be for you entirely, but if there's that curiosity, I'd say, if there's a point where you're like, nah, I'm going to go for this anyway, I'd say jump in, both feet.
Nice.
Bashful Trey says, I'm new to the series despite owning Try It on the Wii U. Didn't get played, but the beta was fun. I imagine it being even more fun with close buds, a headset, and a longer hunt time. Is there a hub area? Didn't love going in from a menu. Yeah, and there are a lot of hubs, I believe, from like the different areas that you move to throughout the stories. So, and that was handled really well in the previous game. So,
sweet.
I think it's just that password matching for the beta.
That was one of my questions, actually. I'm glad that's... I'm sure it wouldn't have been, because it did feel a bit beta.
Well, I know you've got the drop in, drop out like co-op with people and randos, but on the previous ones, if you got a group of friends, you met up at a hub, and that hub had a barrel where you could arm wrestle. It had your eating area over in the corner, but it also had some different bits off screen where you could go back to like your camp and go through like your weapons chest, and you could change your outfits. It also had a place where you could you had an armory as well, where you could sort of take the things that you've got and sort of smash them together and stuff. So yeah, there was quite a useful hub that was in the online stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, even aside from like the main sort of story areas. So
Yeah.
Let me see. My Sinclair says, I'm really happy new fans will find a way to enjoy it, and old fans will finally get a proper console version. I watched an hour of streaming the beta over the weekend and confirmed I still find the game miserably boring, and it isn't for me.
Well, you tried.
I'd also say, like, watching it is very different to playing it, because it feels quite slow and meticulous when you watch it, but when you're involved in it, it's like, oh my god.
I've committed to my big hit. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that I noticed particularly in the fun that we were having. Dr. Faust says, first time Monster Hunter player with the world beta, really enjoyed it. The main gameplay loop is diverse enough that I don't see myself getting tired of it quickly. Had issues with the lock-on camera and button layout. Would prefer square and triangle as primary and secondary. Loved it overall. I think there is remapping of buttons. I think you can do that in the final one. Remember seeing that on might be a Gaijin Hunter bid.
Because I did have a few issues where I was trying to do stuff and just rolling on the floor. Like, what am I doing?
So I don't think that's going to be an issue. I forgot to use the lock-on. There was a certain point where I said to you, like, there's a lock-on. And you were like, yeah.
I haven't stopped staring at it, yeah.
You'd figure that out, like, way beyond me. So
just felt natural. Like, you just kind of devolve into, like, natural what controls should be. And you click the right stick, and now I'm looking at him. Brilliant.
So another good decision from the devs that you've got your traditionalists that can use it as is, but
yeah,
there's another way.
Whee!
Morbid Beard said, I played about 2 hours of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the 3DS and it didn't click with it, and didn't play the beta for Monster Hunter World, but I've decided that when it hits I'll be checking it out as it sounds like a lot of fun. Plus Assassin's Creed Origins will be done and dusted by the time it's out.
There you go. Plus the giant mountain monster does have a pretty good beard.
And this is true.
Yeah. That's
all he needs to know. Maybe you've seen that in a post, and that's the subtext behind the decision.
Monster beard, interesting.
Yeah, that's when that comes out. That has to be the case. Monster beard, indeed, or Monster Hunter beard. Let me see.
Or Hunter Monster beard.
The cat. John Gamble says, I haven't played Monster Hunter since the very first game years ago, but maybe you have. Let these good lads know. He was retweeting for us. Good lad. Join us, John. I know you're a Warframe player and you're enjoying it. Join us. Join us, John.
It's like Warframe, but not in space, and with swords
Monsters
more, less guns,
cats.
and dinosaurs.
Donkeys. Prams.
Cats. Fish.
Horns. Monsters.
Sharp hammers.
Long swords. Edges that go switch. Sentinel Plus says, played on the PSP and it just didn't jive with the systems, but I really wanted to. Love the settings and themes though. Played the beta and it hit all the right notes of what I've been hoping for from earlier incarnations. Day one.
Go on, son.
Marvellous.
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
Yes, mate.
Let me see. Angel No Moon on Twitter, Diana, responded to the Law Hunters newcomer. Law Hunter was the person that was probably waiting to see the conversation around launch before grabbing it.
Call him by his real name.
Shanawoo.
Sinawoo.
And Diana says, same. I had time to play one of the quests and was kind of turned off by how tiny the font was on my 42-inch TV. Jeremy Greer felt the same.
I also felt the same. I had to sit on my computer chair. To be fair, like the text was achingly small for my poor, weak, bad eyes.
And I want to see how it evolves and such before I take the plunge. Yeah, I mean, the devs have got a chance to change that stuff up. Maybe that'll be in the options again, so I'm hopeful. Let me see. Doc J, Playful Wolf, says, played only for half an hour or so, and due to schedule, but I like what I saw and hope this will be my first Monster Hunter. Yes!
Hey, squad.
Get in, son.
Squad. Yeah. Go on, mate.
Pete Lawson, Mr. Worry, says, I enjoyed the beta, though I was very aware that there are 100 things I don't know anything about. I'm looking forward to finding out about them when the game's released. I am slightly concerned that enjoyment might depend heavily on being able to play it with a team of communicative and pleasant other players. You've either got to have mates to join you or be very lucky not to get teamed up with random cads. It's only hearing from folks commenting here that I even know about the glider or the rope hook. Same. And it looks like there will be tons for new players like me to enjoy finding out about and getting to grips with. I did find the on-screen prompts hard to benefit fully from, partly because of the small font size. Maybe once I'm less clueless all round about the game, it won't be an issue. The cat guys are a lovely element, particularly the grumpy purple one. I haven't seen that. Oh, yeah, it's right at the bottom of the selection, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if you can customise their clothing. You can. I want to give Grumps O'Lordy, which is a great name for a panda,
good. Yeah.
A floppy hat.
Ooh.
I think that's a given in that regard. But yeah. Kyle Gungeon Crawler says, I've never played the series, but the beta struck all the right chords for me. Day one purchase for sure. Brackets, so many giant anime swords. This is true.
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
Squad.
There's lots of new people here. So we've got at Gazzy3005, Hellblade Hutch says, never played Monster Hunter before. Looked beautiful and the weapons had real good weight to them. Would have liked some free time to free roam. Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Couldn't work out how to jump on monsters or jump in the air with Kinsect, but pre-ordered anyway. I'm in. Yeah, as I said, I've seen that with the experts, and I am curious.
I watched someone like just flipping 6 times in the air. Like, how do you do that?
I saw somebody with an insect glaive like run up a tree and like spin backwards in the air and over and onto the monster. Yeah, it's beyond me at this point. Let me see. Samuel Mahmood was giving lots of advice to folks in chat with regards to the different things in the main game, and that the community is usually really nice and helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So most randoms won't be dicks. If you need to hunt a certain monster in multiplayer because you can't do it solo, you just need to ask. Yeah, the community's fantastic, and there is a level of instinctive within even randos coming in. So you just all figure it out. And Darren Mose goes on to advise us to how to get onto the creature and how to do the insect glaive jump. Well played.
Ooh.
That was really nice.
Oh.
Just jumping in and advising people on the stuff that they weren't sure about.
Yes, mate. Squad.
Okay. That's lovely.
Shaboy.
Yeah, it says you'll be able to change the camera back to how it worked in previous Monster Hunter. Press it and it puts the monster in the centre of your screen. As for controls, you'll be able to change some, but we don't know exactly how many. You will need to wait for the full game to know.
Interesting.
So Quizin then goes on to say, because they misspelled insect glaive at first and can't even write correctly and pretends to be a veteran. That's really cool. I appreciate you sort of addressing those concerns head on. Bless your heart.
Thank you, Senpai.
So that is on Twin Humanities one. I think most of the ones that have cross-referenced have been on mine, but we did get an email from the mighty and powerful Brad Galloway.
Oh.
So Brad says, hello gentlemen, dashing off a quick response to your query about the Monster Hunter World demo here. I did download and play the beta, but it was quite unfortunate that the limited period it was available happened to fall on a weekend where I was quite busy at work, so I didn't have nearly enough time to dig in the way I would have liked to. I only had time for 3 or 4 quests during the length of the beta, so I didn't really do more than scratch the surface of what it offered. However, as a long-time fan of the series, much of it was instantly familiar, and since I definitely plan on playing the full version, I was more focused on quickly trying to glean what was new or different instead of trying to absorb it all in. Brackets, I would like Paddy to make a sponge joke here.
Absorb it. Well, I wasn't ready, sorry.
And for CJ to disapprove of it.
Well, no problem on that side.
Whatever. Just as a quick bit of background on where I'm coming from, I've spent well over 1,500 hours with the series between all the various versions. Bradley Wilberforce.
Bradley Wilberforce Galloway.
I've played every one that's been released in North America, finished the single-player campaigns in all of them except the very first one and Generations, and I've done quite a bit of the high-level multiplayer stuff as well. So yes, I suppose you could say I have an investment in the series. In general, from all appearances, this appears to be the true next step forward for the series that has been long overdue. I could probably talk for an hour about the history of the series, we'll have him on next year, and why Capcom has made the choices that it has made over time, but from where I stand, the choice to move the series to 3DS was solely in service to Japan and the way that they play Monster Hunter over there. To be fair, it was a good move to feed Japanese players' mobile tendencies, and the series has always been more popular in the East than the West, but keeping it on 3DS didn't do it any favours, since the hardware couldn't properly handle the content, and the physical nature of how the handheld was designed did not lend itself to playing the game properly. Most series fans I knew invested in a CirclePad Pro attachment, and laying hands on one was too much to ask for someone dipping into the game for the first time. As such, I imagine plenty of curious people bounced off the natively ass-like controls after a few minutes. Now that Capcom has finally brought the game to hardware that can render it as beautifully as it deserves to be, has a proper controller, and offers a robust online network easily capable of matching both friends and strangers, and giving today's online-heavy gaming scene and how game habits and ideas have changed over the years, I finally feel as though Monster Hunter is on the cusp of breaking through. However, the biggest hurdle Capcom has to get over is one that has dogged the series since the beginning. They need to be able to make the game accessible and welcoming to newcomers by making it easily graspable, transparent and playable without forcing someone to go running to a wiki. Capcom has constantly struggled to do this in an effective way, and it's always frustrated me. There's no doubt in my mind that many people who would have been fans were kept out by the high bar of entry. Based on what little I saw of the beta, it seems that Capcom is finally aware of this and is taking some steps. between some of the pop-up informational tips, more information about controls displayed on screen, and some lessons learned from other online games. All of my fingers are crossed that the developers are finally going to deliver a tutorial and more open approach to information sharing. If they can manage that trick, Monster Hunter World success is in the bag. Now, please forgive me, chaps. I realise I've gone on for ages and haven't really gotten to what I think of the game, so I'll answer that now. It seems pretty cool. Let's have a hunt on the game launcher, shall we? See, that's well played, Mr. Bradley Wilberforce Galloway. That's not his real middle name, is it? You just named him.
I can't remember what I was admonishing him for, but it felt right.
Does that mean if we do... Because I think you can form 50-player clubs in Monster Hunter World.
Uh-huh.
I think does that group essentially become the Wilberforce?
Oh, wow.
Can you Wilberforce? Can you Wilberforce? Or the Wilder Force? The Wilder Wilders.
The
Wilder Wilds.
The Hunter Monsters.
That makes the Wilder Wilds makes it sound like some sort of musical family that run from the Nazis. And then at the end of the film, run into a forest where they're destroyed by bears that are singing show tunes.
And a T-Rex.
Yeah.
I'd watch that show.
Right, let me see. It's been a fun episode. Thank you for everybody who's gotten involved, and we are going to be doing more of the Huge Monster Teeth.
That wasn't quite as well synced that time.
I thought that was better. It might come out in the edit. It doesn't matter.
Sounded crap on my end.
We'll work on it. If we do more episodes, you're like, they're finally getting used to saying words together at the same time. Evolution of the monkeys right there.
Yeah, they are. They're finally getting used to saying, the
Huge Monster Teeth. I just jumped straight in then. We'll see. We'll see in the edit. We'll see in the edit. We're listening back to our own show. Who'd have thought? Thank you again. This has been great fun. If you want to jump into other stuff in the meantime, like I say, Rex Gaming, Gadget Girl Kylie is consistently amazing. So please go there first. Gaijin Hunters, an absolute triumph of a human being with regards to this as well. Oh yeah, and there's that amazing PlayStation 4 Pro that's come out in Japan ahead of the game coming out. So I presume the game is like a digital code on it. But it's got beautiful pad and lovely. That's one of my favourite designs of a console that I've seen in quite some time, and I am uber jelly.
It's got a nice dragon on it.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah,
lovely. Anyway, goodbye now.
See you later. That's a tiny rar at the end.
Well.